You come to East Hastings Street, the worst street in all of Canada.
Turning right on East Hastings.
Where you from? Hastings, Renfrew, Kingsway, Main Street, Grandview.
Making money in East Van is flop. Money in East Van, East Van, East Van, East Van.
Reppin' East Van, reppin' East Van.
Where you at? Van City. Van City.
I'm from Van City, Van City. That's the city of rain, said I'm from Van City.
That's the city of pain.
Broadway, Victoria.
Yeah, Hastings and Clark.
Van City.
Man City.
A lot of the inspiration comes from heroes you used to look up to when you're growing around in an environment like East Hastings. I'm not saying it's Detroit, Southside Chicago, or anything. There's many places across the world. That's not what it's about. It's its own type of hell, though. It is a hellish environment when you're surrounded by people who've given up, who don't really care about anything, and you're watching them deteriorate in front of your eyes, walking by school, passing by people, seeing that. It's hard not to let it affect you, not let it get into your head. Because many don't. Many are influenced by it. Kid to say, okay, it's simple, I just don't have to do those things. When life's challenges happen, then you start to go, okay, well, it starts with this and then it graduates. And a lot of those people, they came from middle class homes. They came from good upbringings. One thing, one bad habit, one wrong decision, it spirals out of control. And that's what you're left with. A lot of the books that we write here is based on that sort of inspiration. Looking at our heroes that we used to escape through. When you want to picture anything and anywhere other than where you're at, that's the key to getting by. I didn't want to be a rock star. I didn't want to be a movie star or anything like that. What I wanted was to write, and that's where I would take myself to an entirely different world, and there's nothing else that I would rather do. So I know that from a very young age, not only was it my medicine, but it's something even today that I have to. It's a must. It's hard to explain. The environment itself is just dark, man. It is. Home life wasn't that great either. So it's just my room, my mind, with the final layer between out there and in here. But I don't want sympathy. That's the thing, is I don't want sympathy. So a lot of the message is not geared around trying to make people feel guilty and, oh, poor me, people had better lives. I don't wish for that. One advantage that you get to growing up in something like that is the story you can tell if you get out of it. And that's what I do in these worlds that I create. So you're there, you see what people like me, my friends growing up, the people that you see in these videos, this is how we see people at ground level. So you're in on the joke. You're in on the experience. You're in on the hardships. You're in the mind of what they care about. So for me, the key was always staying busy. Whether it was soccer, I would practice at 6 o'clock in the morning just for hours and hours. And I would do that because I knew the minute that I stopped dribbling, I put the ball down, well, then it's just you and your thoughts. Not just being about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. There is a degree of luck and opportunity that comes in. Luckily, I had some teachers growing up that believed in me and put me in programs for me to develop my ability. And of course, I wasn't able to afford it. But a lot of people, they think that Canada wouldn't have a place that existed like that. You do the research yourself and see, hey, you know, it's not just maple syrup drinking and hockey playing up there, you know. The media has done a really good job, especially American media, of highlighting their stereotypes and generalizing. So many don't think there could be a place like this, but it's very real. Once they see it, they're blown away. So I figure, why would I hide that? Why would I not bring that up? And I hid it for so long just because, not out of shame, but I don't want people feeling sorry for me. It's just playing the cards that are dealt. You're there. Use it as strength. Find whatever you can out of it. So it's not having some message about how everybody should be giving their money away to all these people. It's just about what is. It's an objective view. Instead of having some moral message or anything like that, it's not up to me to lecture anybody on that. But I can take you to a world that you haven't been before. And that's what our writing tries to do. So that's what you can expect. This is where it's written from, and it's where we're writing ourselves out of. Ended up saving up all my birthday money, buying a one-way flight to the west coast of the United States. Won't give away location for obvious reasons. It's a little crazier today. But the sunshine, the palm trees, it was day and night difference. And luckily I kept up with the academic side of things. Always working on linguistic skills, writing. It ended up changing my life for the better. Again, combination of hard work and opportunity. Now for some time since a young age, being in the upper middle class bracket area can add sort of a unique perspective and contrast by being in touch. And it's the rich and poor that often get talked down to for their morals. Like the rich people are greedy, self-serving to people. The poor, they're lazy, unmotivated. And then there's the middle class who, in my opinion, they're the craziest bastards out of all. You just don't know it. You gotta look hard. And I was moving schools a lot, 8 or 9 before 10th grade. And so I always had to meet new people. And I was always moving around the city. So it's not even just being from East Van, from Hastings. Spent time on Kingsway as well. What you think is so normal at the time, when you get a different look, you don't realize everybody isn't living like this. It blows your mind. The way I looked at it was like it was a zombie land. There's just an atmosphere that's hard to describe, but there's plenty of YouTubers out there that have been there that talk about it. I was always walking, I was always outside. And, you know, there was a certain point where it could have went bad if I didn't move. You get easily influenced, you get angry. The older you get more angsty. Your rose-colored glasses start to fall off. And, you know, the saving grace was my grandfather was about the same age as everybody else's actual dad. And he was the one, I even called him Pa. As far as I was concerned, he was my dad. And when he had passed, when I was early teenage years, it was misery. You just a black hole, and you're surrounded by this rain, these zombies, crime, drugs, everything. It's hard not to let that wire into you. I give a big shout out to this guy here.
And you come to East Hastings Street, the worst street in all of Canada. All of the city's poverty and drug addiction has been squeezed into a couple blocks right here. Literally watching these guys smoke crack from my car. Literally your job just to pick up garbage on the street?
Yeah.
Like make sure there's no needles or anything?
Yeah.
So you're picking up trash. Look at all of the needles in there. How long did it take you to get all of those?
This is about half an hour.
This was all in half an hour?
The older woman was like, I have HIV.
Nothing to live for.
Yeah, like you've heard of getting robbed at gunpoint and knife point, but like here you get robbed by someone holding an HIV needle.
Like, what the fuck is the point of life? Like, so I suffer in hell. Yeah, I can tell you about Hastings. Like,
Tell me about Hastings, buddy.
a young, like, hustling ever since I was a child. Like, I would go down there ever since I was like 8 years old and like sell shit. I was at stolen shit. Because my dad would end up in jail and shit. Like, I never had an easy dollar like that. Like, 27, I've done the same thing my whole life.
Have you ever tried?
shit.
They don't pay you enough.
Yeah, I can get drugs that like clear my stress. And
As far as day, I don't do heroin, so I don't get sick.
You don't have a habit. You just sell it.
I sell it and I smoke crack. I've been
Okay.
smoking crack for 30 years.
It's hard not to think destructively. It's hard not to feel despair or hopelessness. I would say even today, yeah, it changed my life forever. Still never really, quote unquote, recovered from it. You move forward, but it was devastating. If I want anything, I'm gonna have to do it. Nobody's gonna give it to me. There's nothing guaranteed. Things can just happen. My earliest memories were always being on the road, and that's what we did. We started in the East Coast, everywhere from Baltimore, North Carolina, and then moved out there to East Van. But that was where I spent the bulk of my development years, Hastings. But the thing about it was, even though we moved so much, you know, I was able to see him sometimes and escape to, and it was so nice. It was the complete opposite of everything I grew up in. So I'd always look forward to going down and spending, 3 weeks with him. And I said, this is what I need. This is where I need to be. This is where I need to strive to be and break through to. And it motivated me in school. And he was always so good about keeping me motivated. He taught me sales, had a cold call when I was like 15. So yeah, to it. It's tough to do these types of things because you don't want to out anybody's business, especially when they're doing better for themselves. They don't want their mistakes aired out, but I can say that, yeah, used to losing loved ones, have lost a lot, lost some good friends, recovered, and I'm proud of them for it. Others didn't. A lot didn't.
A pretty dark place to make this video, literally and metaphorically. If you have a safe place to go to sleep, then all I want is for this video to make you feel grateful.